Hello, I'm FKX Toycat, and do you ever find yourself in a creative slump in Minecraft? Because sometimes I just really want to build something, but I have no idea what exactly it is. And it's weird because when I look around my Let's Play world, I found this is the area that has the most unique builds in. This is when I tried to make a city, it was about 7-8 years ago, and I just gave myself no limitations. I'll build a park here, I'll build a bank there, a windmill there, the battle lobby, an ice arena. I just built whatever I felt like building in the moment, and I feel like this is one of the least liked parts of my world, not only by people who watch the series, but also by me. I don't come here very often because it's not so fun, even though there's lots of interesting things here. But the thing that is so much more interesting to me personally, and that the internet agrees with, is stuff like this. This is me draining an ocean. I put about 15 or 16 hours of effort into this so far, and it's so much work to achieve what is effectively nothing. I mean, I just removed water, but it's so interesting. Same with the oil rig, or my paranoia house up there. Something about weird projects is interesting, or the lava pipe that's going across the world here. And there's also something about limitations that have that exact same effect. I built a desert temple using just ice, snow, and vines, and it makes for a very interesting result to look at. You know, interesting at the very least, and it also makes for a really fun experience. I like so many things that I've made because they were built under limitations. I mean, one of my favorite builds in this entire world is this. It's just netherrack, magma, and a single bit of lava that pours down a mountain, and I think it's beautiful. I just love looking at it. I love when people look at it, and I like showing it off. It's so interesting to me what you do with limitations on your hands. And so today, even though we're pretty comfortable in a survival world, we've been playing for almost actually 9 years. The 9-year anniversary is coming up in October. I've been playing for almost 9 years on this world, so I'm comfortable. I've got netherite tools and netherite armor, and I can do whatever I want, and that's fun sometimes. But what if we deliberately limit ourselves, trying to make the smallest house or only building out of wool? These are great ideas that we can work with, but I had a fun idea because given that I did last week the Ice, Vines, and Snow challenge, why don't I build on that and try again? But rather than me picking the blocks, what if it's entirely randomly picked? So allow me to introduce you to the random Minecraft block generator. Simply generates a random Minecraft item at each click. It actually is a random Minecraft block, and it's survival items only for Bedrock 1.16.0. And I think it's actually weighted to make sure that like all the different colored things aren't too heavily in there, because otherwise most Minecraft items are weird variants of variants. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick a number of items. We could pick 1, 2, 3, but we're going to go with 6 separate blocks, and we're going to build specifically for them. So let's hit randomize now, and what we end up with is stone, polished diorite, cut sandstone slab, blast furnace, nether brick wall, and coal ore. So the first 3 of those made a lot of sense actually. Like, yep, stone, polished diorite, and cut sandstone slab. It's not going to be pretty, but we can do something. But how are we going to work blast furnaces, nether brick walls, and coal ore in there? Let's find out, I guess. Okay, I've gathered most of the resources together now. The only question I have is, can you take a sandstone slab and can you cut it via the stone cutter? I need to go to this anyway to take my nether brick and turn it into nether brick walls, apparently. Pro tip, always use the stone cutter. But yeah, if we throw that in there, we can't cut the sandstone slab using the stone cutter. We have to cut sandstone into a cut sandstone slab, which makes perfect sense, obviously, when you really think about it and or don't really think about it. Wait, no, this is even more confusing. We can't make a cut sandstone slab with the stone cutter. Do we have to make cut sandstone first and then turn cut sandstone into the cut sandstone slab, maybe? Is that... no? Okay. Maybe we use the crafting table for some reason. Yep, that's what it is. You can only craft cut sandstone slabs. You can't cut them, despite being... you know what, let's not think about this one too hard. But why can we make regular sandstone slabs in here? The ones that aren't supposedly cut. What does the cut mean, if not being... I'm gonna just try not to think about it too much. Speaking of things I try not to think about too much, blast furnaces are not a very useful item most of the time. I genuinely think, besides for an auto furnace that I don't use because it's not very useful, I don't think I've ever made blast furnaces for actual use in this world. And so let's take some furnaces. Let's grab some iron, I guess, and let's make this work. Oh, we need to cook up some stone into some smooth stone, I think, to make one of these. Man, the blast furnace is expensive. Like, it's not even that valuable, and you gotta go through that much effort. Man, missing out. And so here we go. We've got a hotbar that's fully decked out with the 6 resources we're going to use. However, you know, now we've got the question of like, so where do we go with this? Do we build it right here next to the insane sugarcane farm or just on top of the melon farm? I don't really use these melons anyway, so let's just cover it up, shall we? What I think would be more fun is if just across the water from my city from before that I built using absolutely no constraints besides I was starting a new world and building a city, I'm gonna have over here my builds that are made exclusively from limited blocks, you know? This is a fun concept in my opinion, and what if every single build in the city is built from effectively random blocks being put together in the way I feel like it in the moment, because you can't pre-plan a build that uses cut sandstone slabs and never brick walls and polished diorite, at least as best I can tell. And so yeah, I figured that'd be a really fun idea. And so this right here is going to be my first build in a brand new city or area or town, or you know, it's gonna be a new part of the world that's gonna be randomly generated, and now we placed our first stone block. There's no going back. I don't know how we're going to build on this stone block, actually. Also, we need to get to sleep. It's very, very dark, and I don't have a bed. Probably should have seen that one coming. So I'm going to put my stuff down in a barrel because I don't really want to, you know, carry around being too encumbered all the time. But what I'm also going to do, because I think this is a fun idea that is not being interrupted by baby husks, is what if we made some glow item frames, and then we, you know, had like a little representation of all the various blocks. So we'll put these in the order they came out in from the random number generator. By the way, you can put the item frames on the floor as of 1.17. One of my favorite things to do. Just like, you know, where else are they going to go? We're going to put them on a wall? I can't build a wall out here. I don't know what's going to be here. So yeah, we'll have the coal ore be there, the brick wall be there, and here's the cut sandstone slab. And now we're going to turn these things into a delightful reality. I don't know why it's so fun to rotate items, but I really do enjoy it. Maybe they could all like face towards the center. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. Just now it's all quirky and you look at it more because it's interesting, maybe. So it's daytime. I've done all the fun pleasantries that I can do. Now we have to work out the actual build itself. And for what it's worth, people hate all of my builds no matter what I do, so I guess, you know, there's not too much pressure there. It's not like I can do anything terribly wrong. Oh, do you not like that it's a square? Well, now it's a rectangle. Actually, I guess now it's like a pentagon if I do that. Yeah, you don't like this, do you? Ooh, do you want me to place a block there? Now I'm going to place a block over here instead. This is my perfect build. Okay, so thank you all for watching. This has been my beautiful build that technically did use these 6 blocks because they're all in item frames on the ground. If you want to stay tuned, episode 457 is where we'll do the next one. Oh, sorry, apparently the next episode is 520. How long has this series been going on? Anyway, so, yeah, obviously, we have to get some game plan going on. And I always just think again, my personal preference, everyone else disagrees with me because everyone else builds very differently. But I feel like what you just gotta start doing is build to some geometrical shape. Usually a circle is like the way to be pretty if you want to impress other people. If you want to have fun by yourself, pick a shape that you like. I feel like a shape that's really underrepresented is the octagon. So we're going to try and have something octagonal based. We could kind of build around this thing we've got here. But I've got a vision that this is the road separating structures. So like 5 blocks over, there'll be another one of these with my next build over there or something. And so this is going to go into the, I guess, the sand hill mountain thing. We could remove all of the sand, sure. But I think what would be way more fun is if, you know, let's say it goes up another block right here. I think it'd be way more fun if this just builds into it. And it's kind of, again, like the foundation is off different height depending on where it goes. And it's kind of like a ramp onto the biome and the hill itself. So there we go. Now we've got an idea. And we'll use the shape of, I'd use a hexagon, but obviously Ultra Hard Survival Hexed. Coming out soon. I've been very obsessed with hexagons recently, so let's go with an octagon instead. I feel like no one ever makes octagons in Minecraft. It's always circles or it's squares, and you know what? I feel like the octagon deserves a little more love. You know, don't you all agree that the octagon is an underappreciated Minecraft shape? And so yeah, I'm gonna make myself an octagonal build, and we'll maybe see by the end why we don't do that. And yeah, since coal ore is gonna be tricky to use otherwise. What if we mix it in as like a form of decoration? What if we remove some blocks here and there to make it kind of like a random ore that makes this look like it is just a stone base on which we're building our actual build on top of. I think that's a fun idea, and we'll see if it actually works that way. But yeah, we'll just throw in random colors, because again, how else are we going to use color that is, like, relatively attractive? I could go for the whole, like, we'll make veins of it appearance if we wanted to, because again, coal should spawn next to each other, but I've got a theory that that's not going to look as good as random color, because then it would actually look like it's natural. You want it to look like it's very much not natural, but it could be. You know, it's a different version of natural, because I feel like when you're building, the point is, like, you're making something, right? Some vision, some goal, some idea into reality, and although it's fun to just make reality into Minecraft, it's got to always have a twist on it, right? Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just taking a picture, but with way more effort. I do not have enough stone, probably, to do this, so we're going to have to watch out right there. And also, I think, so if this is 7 blocks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These have to be 7 blocks. But I think that would be including these blocks, because this is part of the diagonal, technically. So we'll go 5 blocks across here, and then we start the next one over here, because we want to have a perfectly even octagon. I know we could have a non-regular octagon, but you know what? Some people say that you can have, you know, like Marmite on your toast, and it's not going to ruin everything. You know, I picked Marmite there because I know it's divisive, but Marmite is like one of those things that, like, objectively tastes bad, but is still enjoyable. I feel like I feel like it's like the child version of maybe like olives, where you enjoy it as a concept, but like you enjoy that it's interesting as a concept. Like, ooh, something's happening here. You can't describe what, but you know something is happening. Just like with this build, we can see that it's going somewhere, but is it good? We'll find out when we finish the octagon, which will be somewhere over there, I guess. Okay, for this to actually work, we need to raise this all up by a block, so I'm going to take all of these internal blocks, and we're just going to remove them, because we want to go 1 block further up. Again, we do want to sit on the ground. It's just going to be sitting on the ground to different degrees, I think. But yeah, as you can see right here, we officially have an octagon. Is an octagon a good shape? I mean, is any shape a good shape? I think about this a lot, because this is like I'm almost like speaking in like build tutorial language, right? Where what you want to do is you want to do this and make sure that you don't make this mistake and blah, 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 blah. And it's so interesting because I've always found it hard to like seem confident when talking about something that is clearly down to personal taste when your personal taste doesn't line up with that, right? Like, yep, everyone, you know, actually, what just hurt me right there? A lot of people look at this and they're like, this is not what I would ever build. But just, you know, keep with me here. See if I turn this into something you don't hate later. All I want to do is be something you really hate, or something you don't hate and you go, oh, that's interesting. Those are my entire 2 vibes in Minecraft. I need to go get more stone, by the way. And so now we fill in the top of the octagon, kind of making like a helicopter pad vibe, I'm going to imagine. It doesn't look like a helicopter landing pad, it just looks like I made a stone circle. So, good enough, you know what? As it turns out, an octagon, when it's small enough, just looks like a circle. Maybe that's why people are actually building circles all this time. So now we need to add some more of our other blocks here, because the diorite and the sandstone slabs and the brick walls, they're very underutilized right now. So let's just put a nice little rim around using some slabs, I guess, and see what that does for us. But yeah, so limitations always seem like such a stupid thing to apply on yourself, right? Like, surely you'd want to have the most available options, you know, like, given to you. But this is, like, interestingly not how most humans work. Besides talking about, like, analysis paralysis, where I've had this before so many times where... Also, I guess, so this is, like, the rim, and then we're going to have, like, a doorway. I think the doorway for this whole thing's going to have to be that way, because you wouldn't enter from this side. But, you know, like, whenever there's too many options at the shop, I get like, oh god, which one do I want? And every single time I'm buying something, I'm not buying something else, etc, etc. Same with ordering delivery. I like to mention this because it's like, one of the really cool things about cities that maybe people don't realize is like, there's like 1,200 places that are within delivery radius of where I live. And so it's like, which one of those places do I order delivery from, you know? That's why I'll do like I like this as like a doorway, by the way. I'm going to do this everywhere else, but then maybe like fill them in as like windows. Because if you just like cover this across, it doesn't work like a window because of the new way walls work. I guess I'd have to like slice like this to make windows. Anyway, one of the things that is really cool is that having so many places, but how do you decide which one to go to? Even with my time, something that I'm really, really bad at is if I have like a whole day that's free, it's like, well, here's the thing I need to get done. So I can get it done at any point in the day, you're saying, and then I leave it till the latest possible moment to do so, and I procrastinate the entire time in between. Even so today, it's a nice day. I've got a social thing I've got to do later, and that's about it. You know, like I have things I want to do for me, but the only thing I have to do is I have to record this video, and I have to go to that social engagement later. It's going to be a fun one, I hope, actually. But it's like, okay, so given that the social thing's at 7, you could probably record the Let's Play at like 6, and then the rest of the time, you could just watch YouTube videos that are so important. And obviously, you know that's dumb when you say it to yourself out loud, but like, what your brain actually does in the moment to moment is it's like, you've got hours left, so it's fine if you just quickly watch this YouTube video. This YouTube video is so important, you need to watch it right now. How are you going to live without knowing, like how funny this little Top Gear segment is, or whatever dumb thing it is that I'm actually looking at. And yeah, it's very interesting to me that like urgency can be like falsely created in the brain. By the way, I love the way these walls look when you put like a block on top of them. I feel like never brick wall, underappreciated block. I feel like we've actually got something going on here. And so now we just, I guess we'll connect the polished diorite around the edges. People say polished diorite is not a pretty block, but you know, I think those people have just not seen how well it combines with the never brick wall, clearly. So yeah, I think that like giving yourself too much of something is a good, like, I think this is how darn it. I think this is how a lot of people handle money, for better or for worse too, where it's like, yeah, I have an infinite amount of money. If I want something, I just vibe out that I can probably afford it, and then eventually I run out of money and it's like, ooh, now I can't afford anything. And it's like, wouldn't it be much healthier to balance and be like, yeah, the fundamental concept of money is that you can afford a finite number of things in a given period of time, whether that's your lifetime or day to day, you can decide by yourself. So I think, by the way, I think I need to have more like outside walls. I think I can't do it every block though, because if I do this, it's going to be ugly, the gaps. So the gaps have to be deliberate, so we leave like an extra space, maybe. Yeah, we leave like a space, and then we'll have a couple of these in the corner. And then the rest, I don't know how it's going to work. But it'll make sense later, I hope. Yeah, I think that, with almost everything, giving yourself like... Oh, this isn't correct at all. Wait, is it correct over there? No, it's one block inwards. I think with almost anything, if you give yourself a limitation, you'll be better off than if you don't, like, you, at the very least, you'll, like, appreciate more not having those limitations later. And, it's like, the worst thing, like, being in school, some people say, like, school days were the best days of my life. I love being in school so much. And it's like, no, you didn't. You're remembering just the good bits and you're forgetting the bad bits. But there is a very, true thing that when you are in school, they take, 6 hours of your time a day. I used to walk now to school each day. So, like, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. They want 40 hours of your time, and they don't give you a particularly compelling reason why, and they don't give you a choice to opt out either. It's pretty terrible, honestly, the deal, if you ask me about going to school. Yeah, these walls need to be, like, something. Is that good enough? Maybe? Yeah, that's good enough to at least have something going on here. And so, I feel like... the real wonderful thing about school is that, like, when it's over, you're like, oh, and now the rest of the time isn't terrible, it's not taken up. When I first started quitting school to, like, make YouTube videos back in, I think it was Modern Warfare 3 days or something, I wasn't, like, fully quitting, I was just, like, not going in as many days, and I'd be like, man, 8 hours is so much when you have it to yourself, whereas now, because this is my full-time thing, if I'm like, yeah, I've got a full day just to make one video, 8 hours, how long does this video take? It's like an hour worth of production. That 8 hours just becomes 7 hours of procrastination, followed by 1 hour of actual work some days. It's something I'm not proud of. It's something I really hate about myself and want to improve. But it's, like, again, that's the power of limiting. Also, I have to say it, from the outside, it's looking pretty ugly. I loved how it was looking on the inside, but from the outside, this is very, very, very appalling. So we're going to have to work on that, I guess. So, the cliche that when someone finds out that they're about to die, or that, like, they have less time than they expected, like a year to live, and they're like, I'm going to go do everything on my bucket list. And they go tick off all the things they'd like to have done in life before they died. It's weird because you know, that's the exact same principle of, like, you have a limited amount of time, so it comes back to bite you, or whatever. And it's so weird, because shouldn't we all take from that lesson, like, wait, you know, that shouldn't I be doing that anyway? I think most people who don't find out they have a shortened amount of time don't do all the things they want to do in life anyway, because again, they're so distracted by the here and the now, and the like. I've heard that it's like a symptom of you know, like ADHD or like various other neurological concerns. You know, procrastination is another thing. Whether it's linked or not is a debate. But like I've heard it's like a symptom of that, to be like, yeah, your ability to prioritize things is very messed up. Like you don't get the same gratification from basic tasks like doing the laundry or whatever else. But the thing I've always taken from that, I think I'm going to put some sandstone slabs on the roof, by the way. That's my genius next level idea here. But the thing I've always taken from that is like, also I need to leave some holes in this so that light gets through and mobs don't spawn. Yeah, I've always felt like, yeah, that's true to some extent also. But, you know, does anyone get prioritization correct in life? Or do we all get it terribly wrong? Just some ways are much more visible than others. Again, if you don't do your laundry or you don't shower, that's a very obvious, visible thing. But if it's something simple like, oh yeah, I haven't put any thought into saving for retirement or, you know, for children or for buying a house, I just live day to day. I do my laundry great, and I don't know, I eat wonderful enough. But you know, like otherwise, I don't plan for the future. I don't have a plan for anything. It's just I'm living moment to moment, man. And it's like, well, that's actually awesome. That's arguably a bigger problem, right? That's because it's you know, like it's such a. But I feel like almost everyone has a version of that where it's like, yeah, of course I'm missing this very key aspect in my life. By the way, I like this. I feel like we pulled this back from the jaws of defeat right here. Now we just finish off our stone, and we see how that goes. And yeah, so can I get through here? I can't. You know, these walls do work. They don't look like they do, but even human players can't get through them, which is weird, because you can get through like 2 fences when you do them similar enough, but you know, Minecraft, it's an interesting game. Yeah, so I've always found like this lack of time thing to be interesting, because we all have a lack of time. You're going to die at some point, probably before you expect it, unless you expect to live to exactly 78, and then you end up living a very average life. And it's like, well, is that going to happen? Or are you going to have a little more or a little less time than you expect? And so shouldn't the real emphasis be like, yeah, let's do the like important things, or you know, at least have very clear, rigid plans about how to do those important things, and only shift them if we genuinely do have a priority change. Like again, I said a thing of like prepare for retirement or kids or something. If you plan to have, you know, you get money together because children are expensive, and then you decide, actually, I despise children, that's great. You know, you finally come around to the correct team on that one. Okay, now I've got this. I've got like a little. I feel like. Oh, we got to do the most important last bit. We gotta go here and there. Yeah, I feel like a lot of like. Should we just put 4 blast furnaces like that, or should we do something more interesting? It's gonna be more interesting, right? We could make them visible from the windows. That's not what I was going for, but I like that too, actually. What if instead of windows, they're actually just blast furnaces, kind of stuck out the sides like that? I think that's fun. It indicates there's going to be a blast furnace in here, which is fun. And then we'll put the other 2 blast furnaces like underneath them. Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't know why I like that a lot, like the blast furnace kind of being visible. But if you have 4 blast furnaces, that's the way I think you should use them. And then we'll just do a few finishing touches, like maybe that would look better. I don't think we can get in this anymore. No, that we can't. That's it looks better, but it isn't better. The same thing if we do down here, because a block and a half gap means you can't get over. It looks so bad, like you should be able to get in this thing, but you can't. I want to make a parkour map that's entirely just dumb things that look like they should be possible but aren't, and then things that look like they shouldn't be possible but are. But that's just another weird idea that I'm having instead of like, oh yeah, you have left your laundry undone, Toy Cat. Why is that? You know, you are desperately behind on a few things, and yet you've got this weird idea for parkour. Prioritization, it's important, and ultimately having limited resources and realizing that, because we all have limited resources all the time, we just pretend we don't. Realizing what you have is an important thing too, in my opinion. I think so, at least. And so this right here is my first build in the random generation city. It's kind of like a temple, I think, but like a temple to the blast furnace. It does achieve the goal of being interesting. I mean, it's built from entirely random blocks, but it does have a use, the blast furnace. It does have some flavor you wouldn't expect. Most people aren't combining polished diorite and nether brick walls, and I had a lot of fun making it. I recommend you give this a whirl for yourself, and I think I'm at the very least going to do another one of these somewhat soon, because I think this is such a fun idea. And if you liked it, please like this video, or subscribe, or do whatever it is to like it, to give the YouTube algorithm gods knowledge that you'd like to see more of these things. Because yeah, I've been trying to find that perfect balance between like easy enough to do, but also interesting and worth checking out in some way. And I hope that this hit that spot for you. If this didn't hit that spot for you, just remember that eventually we'll all die one day, and so it doesn't actually matter whether you like this video or not, because you need to go do your laundry, or you need to go live your dreams of making a parkour map where the parkour doesn't make any sense. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. I know I put this sign here myself, but I enjoy this so much. Man, this Let's Play world is a steal. You get laughs like that as well as everything else. I should just sneak in the lyrics to All Star, like put in the Nether. My world's on fire. How about yours?